Hi everyone, this is Aluchi from the Curvy Cauldron. Not today, this week is officially launch week, official. But tomorrow, my book, my poetry collection, Tasteful Hypocrisy, will be available on Amazon. The paperback will be available on Amazon. The ebook is already available. It was available April 15 for pre-orders, and the official release date of the ebook will be May 31st, 2025. That's for the ebook. But the paperback, you can actually purchase the paperback on Amazon starting tomorrow, April 22nd. This is the author copy, so excuse the band around it. But yes. Oh my God. The smell of new book. Whew. Anyways, I am so happy. I am so grateful. I am just overwhelmed with joy. This is the first time ever in my life that I've had two extremes of things happening at the same time. So on one hand, I have this book, um, on one extreme, the extreme of joy and just happiness. And then on another hand, I have a family issue that has been going on for a long time. And it just seems to come to a head this month, really. And it's the first time in my life I've been through something, and it's not even a relationship thing, just a family issue. And it's the first time in my life I've been through something where sometimes my heart beats like a war drum now, and I don't even know if it's because of happiness or that issue. I don't know. But either way, I am very grateful for this book. I am very grateful that I have some kind of joy in this trying time. But also, I almost pushed the lunch back, but I already promised and I already put everything in. And I thought, you know what? Why not? Life keeps lifing, and right now I'm just trying to put one feet in front of the other. And I'm one of the people affected by this issue, but the main person this issue is going on with, I can't even imagine how they are dealing. So we are all, as a family, dealing with this together and just putting one foot in front of the other. But I'm still very happy. I'm very lucky that this book is finally out on paperback, and then the pre-orders are ready, and very soon May 31st will be here and you will have your ebook. So yes, that is the announcement. But anyways, this is the first time I'm doing this segment called This Week at the Curvy Cauldron. And I'm just going to talk about things I've been observing, things I've been seeing. If I have any new projects, this is where I will announce it. And that reminds me, I actually need to announce a new article. As you guys know, I just started. When did I start? I think it was last year. I can't remember really. I think it was last year. But anyways, I'm trying to publish my essays on other places aside from my website. So I still publish on my website, thecurvycauldron.com, but I've also started publishing on Medium. And right now I think I have up to 5 or more than 5 essays on Medium. But I wanted to spotlight my latest essay, and that is looking at the church as a third space, and how the other reasons, not just church really, looking at religion itself as a third space. I was really inspired to write this article after, engaging in the discuss of about third spaces going away. And I thought, the church, not just the church, religion really, and traditions, they were the first places that actually spearheaded those third spaces we're talking about. Or I won't say the first places, but they were part of the the really strong structures that held third spaces together. Because there were, if you think of it, things like religion, things like culture, things like tradition, they're part of our identity. And when something is a part of your identity, whether you believe or you don't believe or whatever, if somehow something makes itself to be a part of your identity, whether you want it or not, whether you like it or not, there's a part of you that honors that the third space that that structure creates. So sometimes you see people that go to church, they don't believe in God, but they enjoy the things that that third space brings about. So I talk about things like community, things like fashion, how the church, or not just the church, how religion in general shapes taste. I talk about ceremony, but yeah, make sure you check that article out. It's on Medium and it is free to read. You don't have to pay anything. And I will link the article to this video. Now that we're done spotlighting that article and spotlighting my book, Taste to Hypocrisy, available on Amazon starting tomorrow, I wanted to talk about something that I observed. Actually, two things that I observed this week. One of them I observed, it, it happened around me. It didn't happen to me. It happened around me. And then the other one was just internet stuff. So one of the first observation is that I've noticed that there is this thing in our society. I don't know if it's just because of the way the economic situation is right now in the world. I don't know if that's why it's so jarring. But then I think about it, it's not really that. Because back home in Nigeria, when like people that are very, 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 like living hand to mouth, not that don't have much, they look at someone that is driving a beat up car as rich, right? So there is this whole thing. That's like the basest form of it, right? But then when you bring it here to the US, there's this weird thing that happens where someone doesn't even have to be rich. They don't have to be dripping in gold. And I understand that there is, with the economic situation, there is this pushback against obscene display of wealth and just disregard for other people and what they're going through. I understand that. That is not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is there's this weird thing that happens where people feel like if they perceive that someone, it's just the perception. It doesn't even have to be that that person is doing better than them. There is just this weird thing that happens where that person is almost, there's this thing where there's a need to tamp down or like clamp down on their bragging rights or their flexing rights. And what do I mean by this? I mean, if a tree falls in the forest and no one hears it, did it really fall? There is this weird thing, whether you're rich, there's this, it's not weird, but there's this human thing, whether you're rich or poor. I don't really like that word poor because to me it means poor in spirit. But like whether you're rich, have a lot of resources, or you don't have much resource, there's this thing where there's a human desire to brag, to flex, to say that they got it, right? But then I've noticed that in this economic situation, and even before that, there is this weird thing where if someone is perceived as having more, whether it's true or not, when everyone is bragging about the same thing and that person brags about the same thing, it's like an elephant just entered the room. Why is that? Why do we do that to people? I noticed something. Okay, I'm going to give an example. But this has happened twice right now. I've been in the vicinity of it happening to somebody. And now there might be other dynamics. I was new to that dynamic. So there might be other things floating in the under the surface that I might not be aware of. So I'm just going to throw that disclaimer out there. But I've noticed that you can give this particular situation. I'm going to give an example. You can give people $500. So you give one person, let's say this person is a man, no kids, no family burden. family is not a burden, but like family responsibilities, no family responsibilities, no, nothing that pulls away from them, just taking care of only themselves, right? And then you see another man. This man has a wife, he has kids, he has in-laws that rely on him, right? And then you give these two same people $500 to spend. They One of them, the one that has all these responsibilities and life is just on them, they don't use it to like better their family. That's not even what I'm talking about. Not that they have to use it. Let's say these two people spend these $500 leisurely, right? So the man spends it on, he spends $200 getting like a gold bejeweled leash for his cat from Timo. Not $200, but he spends that, and then there's other things that Timo and that like attaches to the order that makes it $200, right? Maybe like a fluorescent shade for his herbs in his kitchen or something like that, like whatever it is that Timo sells that will rack up that to like $200, right? And then the remaining $300 he spends $150 buying clothes, a lot of clothes from Shein for his wife. And then he spends the remaining $150 taking getting milkshakes for his kids, going out, having beer with the boys. Like he spends it having a good time, his version of a good time, right? And then the other person spends it on that same $500, sees that there's a deal that the real is having on a Chanel bracelet, and then they buy it for like, or Poshmark or eBay, whatever. They cop a Chanel bracelet for, let's say, $300, right? And then use the remaining $200 to go for a massage and facial or whatever. These two men come to work the next day. This one with kids and responsibilities brags about how he leisurely spent this money. Not that anything is wrong with that. But then when it comes to time for this other person that is perceived as, not having responsibilities, not having wife, kids, all those things, and maybe he carries himself as a rich kid, whether he's rich or not, he's just perceived that way. If this person says what he did with that $500, the way the room shrinks is so scary. I don't know what it is, but it's like it's like, who deserves bragging rights and flexing rights, especially if they're bragging about the same thing, right? Or something similar to the same thing, or if they spent the same amount of money just in different ways. Like, it's such a weird thing. I don't know I don't know if it's just the economic situation. I don't know what is going on. And this is not even like, I know there's this whole eat the rich, but it's turned into this whole, it's not eat the rich, it's eat someone I perceive as better than me, or as making more money than me, or as having more resources or whatever than me. And that is also one of the reasons too why I feel like, if someone, and I'm not even speaking about people that don't have resources, just people in general, it could be someone with a bazillion resources, someone with what that doesn't have much. And that is also something that I covered in the issue of my magazine, the Autumn Breeze issue of my magazine, where if someone perceives you as not having any problems, and they perceive themselves as the one that have all the problems, they perceive themselves as the ones that have all the problems in the world. It doesn't matter what you do. You could be talking about, there's this thing of me, like, oh, it doesn't matter. Oh, a car hit you. Well, you have money to take care of that. It doesn't matter. Now, listen to how an elephant bit me. Like, it's just a very weird thing that's going on. And it's almost like there is this weaponized thing where when people perceive something, whether it's true or not, and they run with it, the kind of, what do you call it? The kind of harm they do to the other person. It doesn't even have to be physical harm. It could just be social harm, or just the harm of just not being heard and being expected to just take things because you were perceived as having more, or you're perceived as being more beautiful, or you're perceived as, having more opportunities. Whether it is true or not, it's so sinister and it's so scary. And we need to do better as a society, because whether it was there or not before, this economic situation here, at least in the US, has made it so jarring and so glaringly obvious. Back home in Nigeria, you are aware of that. You're aware that it doesn't matter that, maybe someone that doesn't have much resources, if you're a little bit, just a little bit, if it's a little bit like this, maybe they have, they can afford everything except rice, and you're basically on the same level with them, but you can afford a grain of rice. There is this perception that, you're carrying money around, and it's so weird that, it can lead to, it doesn't matter what you're going through, people can hike up the prices when you go to buy something, because you are perceived that way. And whether you tell a story about you being rich or not, it doesn't matter. If you're perceived that way, they will hike up the prices. You could be going through the most horrible thing, and somebody will be trying to extort you. It's scary. It's scary, and it causes more harm and just reduces trust level in society to a very scary degree. Okay, that's the first observation. The second observation is this thing. I have this weird thing with language. I won't call it weird, but I'm an admirer of language, and not just language the way it's spoken, or the way different cultures speak it, or different languages in the world. No, I am also interested in um the way, I can't remember the word for this that people use for this, but the way we say things without saying them. And I think that is beginning to become a lost art. Before, it used to be a thing that you admired in someone. They can really say things and get to you without explicitly saying them, right? But I don't know if it's the therapy culture or whatever. And yes, we need to be mindful of each other and ourselves. We really need to be, mindful. That is not what I mean. What I mean is, it's almost like we have skewed all the way to the end of the horizon, to the point where saying things without saying them, it's become a lost art. It's like you get something, what you really mean to say to someone is, get the F out of here, you are stupid. But you take that thing and you wrap it in therapy speak, and you wrap it in being nice, and then you deliver it. And it's such a weird, and it's not even, you deliver it in such a weird way where it's not even, at least for me, I don't see it as, wow, this is an art. I see it as, this is cowardice. This is cowardice. And I'll give you an example. There is something, I follow videos of a certain lady on TikTok. I'm not gonna say who she is. I get a lot of her videos because I interact with a lot of her content. I don't follow her, but I get a lot of her videos. I interact with her content. And also, I unfollowed a lot of people because I'm trying to turn that account into a brand account. When I create a personal TikTok, if TikTok is gonna survive, when I create a personal TikTok, then I will go back to like following all the people I used to follow before. But anyways, this lady, she posted a video, and she's one of these ladies that, she's not really in a risque industry, but she dresses very openly, like she's not like a buttoned up dresser, and she like twerks, she dances. No, it's not a musician. Now we know in the US, somebody else in another country. But anyways, this lady, she posted a video. can't really remember exactly what was going on in the video, but I went into like comment. I put in like the hot comments. That's always the comment I leave. And then I remembered, oh no, this is a brand account now. Okay. So, anyways, I went in and the comments were just weird. Like somebody was saying, "Oh, her husband is so strong. Wow, you married a strong husband. Wow, that man, give him 10 over 10. He is strong." Like, what kind of, it's almost like a backhanded compliment with no with no um with no pizzazz, with no, it's not like the art that we used to admire from our aunties back in the day, or from, some secretary of state or some president giving an address to someone that we don't really have a strong tie with and roasting them but still keeping it professional. Like, it's not like that. It's almost like come out and say what you want to say, my lady. Like, why do you have to wrap it up that way? Like, I'm very interested really to see, it's not just women that do this, men do this too, because it's become very, while we should be sensitive to each other, it's still become a society where we've skewed all the way to one side. Where now, before we say something, even when we want to say something mean, we take that mean thing and then we wrap it and wrap it and wrap it and wrap it and wrap it up in therapy speak, or we wrap it up in something that sounds nice and something that sounds like you're praising that person. We wrap it up so well and then we present it. And it's just, we really are not fooling anyone. But I can't wait to see what our world looks like in 5 years or in 10 years, and how, especially the younger generation coming up, the way they handle conflict and the way they express, you know, that distaste, or the way they express, the way they deride someone's decision or express that they're not in solidarity with whatever that person is doing. I would like to see like all those, the languages of conflict, and not just the language of conflict that is outright aggressive, but the ones that are very velvet, iron fist and velvet gloves, but still gets to the point. I can't wait to see how those words and those, the language and just the sayings, how they evolve many years from now. I really can't wait. I can't wait. I want to see how it really, how it grows or how it declines, because it's such an interesting observation. What else? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Through this trying time, I was very happy and very lucky to watch A Moment But Forever, the Chinese drama A Moment But Forever, and I will be uploading a review of that. And also, I am currently watching the Demon Hunters romance. Oh my god. I think I am slowly, and I will be going to see Ryan Coogler's movie. If I don't go to see it, depending on how my life is going and how my week is going, because sometimes I'm just so exhausted. Or maybe when it comes out on, when you can purchase it and buy it, I'll go see it. But all I know is that I have included it on my list of things to see. Sinners, I've included it on my list of things to see. But anyways, I am currently watching the Demon Hunters romance, and I think my horror palette is not just my horror palette, but like my scary movie palette is slowly expanding. You know how when you're young, you like sweet wine, and as you get older, your palate matures, and now you're drinking dry wine? I think something like that is happening to me with the horror genre. And I don't mean like the horror genre, like the vampire and rise. That I like. It's no. But there's a certain horror that Nigerian movies ruined for me, because God, those movies were so scary. But I think I'm beginning to rediscover them again with wuxia. Oh, sorry, not wuxia, but with the Jianjia trope. I think I'm beginning to rediscover it again, and also with other movies, other American movies, and also some Nigerian movies too. Like now that I'm a grown adult, there are things that scared me in my younger years that don't scare me as much anymore. So yeah, I'm very interested to see how my horror palette keeps, maturing, I guess. But yes, yes, yes. This brings us to the end of this video this week at the Curvy Cauldron. Ha! This is a new series that I think I'll keep doing because, yeah, I want to chat with you guys and talk to you guys. But anyways, to close this week at the Curvy Cauldron, I'm going to read you a poem. And I know I dedicated this book to me, my family, and my ancestors, but this book is also super dedicated to my mother. And I'm going to read you a poem, the one that I used for the back. And I think inside in the book is called Homegrown. So it goes, in the beginning was my mother's breath, and it flowed through our lives, and it awakened the bloodline. So please make sure you cop a copy of Tasteful Hypocrisy paperback starting tomorrow on Amazon. And then if you want the ebook, you can sign up for pre-orders and you will get it May 31st, 2025. Thank you so much, my loves. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I love you. I adore you. Please like, share, subscribe. I am trying to grow this channel and comment. Okay? I don't bite. Just be respectful.